So, I've made a handful of videos about the BMW M3 GTR. I've shared lots of information about what made these cars special and how you can replicate them down to the last and most minute of details. I even have my own E46 M3 that I am using to build a replica and have recently ordered a body kit. I've garnered an audience of awesome people and super passionate enthusiasts that love these cars. But I've gotta tell you, I never thought I would see the day that BMW would take one of their real V8 P60B40 powered, straight cut geared M3 GTRs and transform it into the Need for Speed Most Wanted M3 GTR. The perfect, most accurate, realistic one-to-one replica that could ever be made. You guys knew I was going to talk about this. Welcome everyone to another episode of Car Topics Explained or Discussed. That's really what this is. And I'm Tom, the Racing Joker, YouTube's most obsessed BMW M3 GTR fanatic. Self-proclaimed, of course.
Suspect vehicle is a black BMW.
So, where to even begin? Well, first off, let's just start with the most important question being answered. I just want to confirm to everyone that yes, what you are looking at is a real BMW M3 GTR race car adorned in the iconic blue and silver Most Wanted livery. And what's even more cool, the car will be on display in Germany at the BMW Welt exhibit. It's a work of art. I'm biased, but it's a work of art. Looking at this car, knowing it's the real deal underneath this awesome appearance, I think changes it. Like, there are some brilliant replicas out there with awesome body kits, cool engine swaps, and all kinds of stuff. People have made some great Need for Speed Most Wanted M3 GTR replicas. But looking at this, knowing it is just the real thing, not just a skin, a wrap, a body kit, but just a real M3 GTR, it's mythical to look at it. I'm being dramatic, but it's so cool. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I was 7 or 8 years old when Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 came out. Looking at this car, if you put a Ferrari F40, a McLaren F1 LM, a Koenigsegg Agera 1.1, an R34 GTR Z-Tune, because why not, or a McLaren P1 LM, or whatever else you can think of, and put them all next to this car, the M3 is still going to be the car I make a beeline for. The other cars, frankly, will not exist. And also, happy 30th to Need for Speed, because that's why this is happening to begin with. And this is also coinciding with the Volume 9 update of Need for Speed, I almost said Most Wanted, Need for Speed Unbound, where it's called Lockdown, I believe, and one of the missions is within some sort of weird partnership with Razor, who makes an appearance. You go and recover the M3 GTR, where it's a mix of kind of beat up old blue and silver livery, but also kind of the weird red beta livery. You're recovering it. It's cool to see Razor back. It's cool to have the nostalgia. I think for the new players, it's kind of like, what is this sort of thing? It is kind of funny listening to Razor fangirl over the car.
This ain't no pump gas kit car. You treat her with respect. Been looking for this one for a long time. Give her a good run. She deserves it. This is the kind of ride that'll take you all the way to the top. Do not lose her again. And you better get her out.
But yeah, it's super cool. Super, super cool. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of perusing through the gallery of photos I have of this car, I was very curious which GTR chassis they used to do this. They used a real M3 GTR race car, and I was curious if they used one of the GT designated chassis or one of the actual GTR cars. And when I saw the P60B40 in the engine bay, well, my curiosity was more than piqued. Well, apparently they used BMW M3 GTR chassis 004. And that's not just any M3 GTR. That is car number 42. You Jorg Mueller's and JJ Leto's car. I think is how you say their names. I hope I'm saying them right. But this is it. It doesn't get any more M3 GTR than this. We've all seen and heard the videos, the footage of Jorg Mueller's driving. The straight cut gears, the V8. This is it. This is why it's the ultimate replica. I can't even call it, it's just a real thing. I used to always say the M3 GTR and Need for Speed Most Wanted was like a character. It wasn't real. It was playing the part of a real race car with the livery. And the way I said that really ticked off a lot of people. But now you get to say it's real. And now I just really want to talk about the cool details of the car. So, I mean, let's start small. All right, let's start with the interior. You got that OMP steering wheel there with the yellow stripe at the top that lets you know that the wheel is centered and all that good stuff. The wheel, just fun fact, was actually blue long before this whole transformation even took place. But I do not remember there being a BMW logo in the center. That could have been there before. I just have no recollection of that because obviously things get changed over the years and fiddled with, removed, and put in storage or whatever. You can obviously see the typical race car switch panel, but more interestingly, if you look closely, you can see the silver metal ductwork that tunnels through the car for the side exhaust system. You can see it on the floor there, obviously shielding the driver from the exhaust pipes and the heat and all that sort of stuff. And fun fact, that only exists, and they can get away with having that exist because the roll cage system maintains the integrity of the chassis, so all of the cutting and tubing they did, they were able to do with no real integrity concerns. Up next, you've got the, to me, very iconic golf ball shaped shift knob, obviously connected to the iconically loud straight cut gear 6-speed transmission, which I'm pretty sure is a Hewland, not a Hollinger, because I don't think it was an actual sequential. It was a flat foot shifted kind of dog box style transmission, I think, where the upshifts I think were just clutchless, but they had to use the clutch for downshifts. But either way, it's the source of that iconic whine. Good old straight cut gears. Everyone looked up straight cut gears because of this car. Very few people on planet Earth learned about straight cut gears without first being inspired to research it because of the M3 GTR. Now let's hop outside and take a look at the right side skirt. There you'll see the iconic side exhaust and the heat plate around the tips as well. And why is that there, do you ask? Well, because these cars are powered by a fire-breathing monster and has a habit of shooting pretty big flames. And now as for the power plant itself, we've got, of course, none other than the ultimate, penultimate, extraordinary, legendary P60B40, a 4-liter flat plane crank V8 racing engine that was bespoke to these M3 GTR race cars and the unobtainium street cars, which no one has and will ever have. The ultimate BMW engine, second only maybe to something like the S70/2 V12, and that could be up for debate. This engine is so special and significant to BMW's heritage that people still rave about it to this day. And now you may think, because it looks quite similar, that looks an awful lot like an E46 engine bay with an S62 5-liter V8 swapped into it, with just a carbon cover on it. Well, I'll tell you right now, the S62 you find in something like the E39 M5 is super different when compared to the P60 V8. The comparison is so pointless that it'd be like trying to compare the taste of an apple to a bowling ball. And just for fun, I always enjoy seeing the plastic vents sitting there in the engine bay too, because I don't know why, but I always just assumed that the vents were part of the hood, but when you lift the hood and they're still sitting there, it's just a neat detail to me. I guess it's easier to make sure they're secured and affixed in that location rather than to the hood. Maybe it's just easier to secure it that way. I don't know. No one's ever explained it to me. But then it does make the hood look funny with the cutouts. But now we finally get to see the exterior of the M3 GTR for the first time ever in real life, cosplaying well, not even really cosplaying, bringing to the mortal realm, real life, the character of the Mostwanted M3 GTR. It's not just a car in a video game inspired by the real race cars anymore. It's not just people building replicas using street cars like me. This is a real M3 GTR with the real GTR V8, with the real straight cut gear transmission, with the real interior. All of that with the blue and silver vinyl. I'll just say vinyl since that's how it's put in the video game. And what's funny is if you came to me from the future and you had told me when I was younger that BMW was one day gonna do this, I wouldn't be able to 100% believe you. I mean, these cars are super special to everybody. Everybody who loves them, they're super special. They're the ultimate car. And they're super special to BMW themselves. But here we are. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. And at least for me, it changes the way my quest to build my own GTR feels. Like, I mean, my plan is still the same. Nothing about it has changed in that regard. Like, I'm still going to use the same body kit that I've ordered. I'm still going to do the side exhaust. Still doing the wide body wheels. Still doing my own wrap. I'm still using the Shelby LT6 flat plane V8. Hollinger sequential gearbox and all that good stuff. But, and I know this sounds dramatic, it makes it feel different. I don't know how else to put it, because, and this doesn't happen often, realistically, unless if I'm just being pseudo-dramatic for another something else. I am quite simply speechless. That doesn't happen often. So good on you, BMW. Good on you. Good job, BMW, and good job, Need for Speed. And I hope you like mine when it's done.